Welcome to February's Studio and Wild live session. This is where I share my art practice, and I hope that inspires you to go and make marks with nature as well. So today we're doing a few things. We're going to be making some marks in collaboration with Snowdrops. We're going to be making some marks based on the night sky, starry night skies. I'm going to show you some of my landscape abstracts that I'm working on. A bit like, let me see if I can find an example. Should have prepared that before. I'll find one in this moment. These are sort of inky black that I'm landscapes that I'm making with this India ink. I'm stripping everything really back in my art practice when I'm outside to really focus on composition and mark making. So I'm going to show you some of that as well. And I'm going to show you some avocado ink that I'm playing with. So lots of things. Okay. The first exercise I'm going to do is with this video that's on my laptop, that if you're in the Wild Enchantment Club, or you can see my light ring a bit in there, you'll have seen this video. It's of a nice drift of snowdrops that are bobbing about in the wind. And I'm going to try and follow the marks of the snowdrops' heads moving in the wind. I love these exercises where you follow the movement. It's really... You might be able to hear the video a bit. It really gets you into the moment, especially if you're doing this outside. At the moment, it's still raining lots here, so I haven't managed that. But yeah, these are really lovely exercises, just following the movement as it comes. And they're just very little delicate movements, actually, of the snowdrop heads. Just rocking, nodding. So these are just a little mark making to get me started on into this session. I'll show you in my nature journal, my wild journal. Here are some that I made outside. I also tried to do a drawing without looking at the page of the snowdrops. And these are the movements they were making in the wind. And yeah, it's really fun to just get into the moment and being really present with the nature on your doorstep. And it's the same exercise that I use. For those of you who've followed me for a while, you would have seen these, but the same exercise that I used to make these drawings, which were in my art collection, Rivers Run Through Us, where I followed the ripples of the water and the eddies of the water and just drew the movement as I saw it. So it might seem like a simple exercise, but actually it really it's quite a somatic experience. It gets you into the moment really well. Any questions, just let me know. I will try and have a look on the screen and answer them as I go. Any questions about wild journaling, about my art practice, about how to get started making marks on nature, just let me know. This is a star chart, again in my wild journal, that I've created as part of a free course I've got running at the moment called Stories of Winter Stars, which I've had go for 2 weeks in the hope that there might be enough, at least one day with stars. And it's been really cloudy. So each night I go out and look at the stars at different times. This was at 4 a.m, so I didn't manage to, although it was nice and clear, I didn't manage to actually get out. And they're not completely accurate snapshots of the night sky. So this is each evening that I've gone out. Each blob is a different evening. But what I really love it to get me noticing what the colour actually is. And so this night was actually much more, the clouds were out, so I couldn't see any stars, but the sky looked almost pink. It was quite an amazing colour. So I'm going to do what it looked like last night, which is similar to these two, kind of a grey, yellowy clouds above. I hope tomorrow, I think this weekend is meant to be better. So let's see. So I just draw a circle and add it in. And I really want you to see just how simple it can be. And it doesn't have to be a complicated thing to get to know your local nature through mark making. This is all about getting to know the night sky above you. Exactly where you live right now. You don't have to go anywhere fancy. I'll add in a little bit of darkness there. But yeah, I couldn't see any stars last night either. And then I tend to just add in a little drop of water there. I love how it creates these splodges, and to me that represents the clouds. So I'll later just write the date and a few notes on what I noticed underneath. So that's my wild journal is a really big part of my art practice, I've realised. Often I thought they were really separate, but actually the noticing, what I do in my wild journal is really about noticing and becoming very present in the moment. And I find making marks with nature or in collaboration with nature is an amazing way to really root you into the moment. And so, yeah, you can see there's lots of experiments in here that I do with mark making with nature, and then that spills out into the artworks that I make. So I'll put that to one side, leave it to dry over here. Next thing I wanted to show you was some of the abstracts that I'm doing at the moment. So, let's see if I can find a good example. I've been taking part in a course, it's just an online course by Sam Broughton, who does lots of incredible abstract landscapes. I've been walking around my village with my sketchbook with just 2 pencils, a black wing pencil and a really thick Lyra pencil, graphite pencil, and doing really quick sketches. So here you can see kind of the horizon there, a few trees on the background. The sky was really stormy. There are a few birds in the sky, and this is just some of the grasses in the foreground. What I'm finding really challenging is not to try and copy everything that I see onto the page, and instead pick out the elements that I'm really drawn to and think about the composition. So this piece, I was trying to get it all concentrating in this one area. And not just that, also the layers in it. So you obviously have the different tonal layers. So you have the tone of the white page, you have these lighter grey marks, you have the really dark black marks here, and you need all of them to create this depth in the piece. So just limiting myself to very few materials has really helped me to hone in on the composition and the tone of the tonal range that I use when I'm out sketching. I have done hundreds of these, it feels like. A lot of them are not great, and that's fine. That's part of the process. And then what I'm doing now in the studio is I bring them back. I'll show you a few more sketches in a moment. I bring them back, and then I'm playing with ink, black India ink. Again, very limited in the materials that I use, so that I can really focus on the composition, the textures that I'm making with the different brushes and tools, and yeah, the tone as well, and the composition. So composition is something I've struggled with for a while. So this has been really great exercise. Now these 2 that I really like. So hopefully you can see from that sketch that I did out and about how that's evolved into these pieces. So what I'm going to do now is create some of these pieces here in the studio with you, because it's just so miserable outside. Like, to take the inks out would mean that it would take absolutely hours for these to dry. They blow all over the place. It would be an absolute nightmare. But the hope is that I can practice these techniques, with the different tools, to get the textures that I want, so that when I go out, hopefully when it gets nicer weather, I know how to use the tool. It's like a skill, isn't it? I know how to use the tools to make the marks that I want to make. So this is practicing in the studio, making marks with ink. So I'm going to do maybe 1 or 2 of those. I've prepared some cartridge paper here. Hopefully you can still see that. Yes. Seeing if there's any comments. Oops, I can't see any. Sorry if you have. I will get back to you afterwards if I missed them. So these are lots of sketches that I've been doing. You can see how many I've made, and they take me, I don't know, a few seconds each. Some of them are good, some of them are terrible, but that's fine. the aim is when I'm out is to make the sketches. So I'm going to be using this one here, which I think I used actually for those other two, to work from to make my ink one. Maybe you can see, I hope you can still see the bottom of that on there. How to fit it all on the screen. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to have 3 different inks. Well, one's water, so that's my water here. Then I'm going to have one mid-range, mid-tone ink. I'm just going to shake this up a bit so that can make the greys. I'll just add a little bit in. And again, this is learnt from Sam Broughton's course. I really recommend it. I'll put it in the show notes. So that's a mid-range. Let me just see how colour that comes up as. Got some scrap here. Oops. There we go. Yeah, that's quite nice. Mid-range grey, quite light actually. Then I have in this one a full concentrated, really black Indian ink, and then I've got my water there. So those are the 3 I'm going to use. My tools are my dip pen, which I absolutely love, a little brush, this very thick Hake brush, slightly bigger acrylic brush, I think this is. Yeah, and that's what I'm going to use. So this feels quite vulnerable because I am still very much learning here, but I think it's, oh, sorry, I bashed the stand. I think it's really important for me to show you the process and hope that inspires you to give things a go. It might feel vulnerable to do it, but hopefully this will give you I'll get it out. I'm going to pour it in here. The confidence to give it a go as well. And really, the way you get better, isn't it, is through practicing. There's no way around it. Okay. Why is this not coming out? That's the line at the bottom there. I'm going to try and bring in some of the cloud. I really love this brush. I used it in the those of you who've been with me a while, for the Starling Murmuration art collection. It's just beautiful textures it can make. Okay. I might add in a little bit of this darker one. It's very gloopy, this one. I think it's been left in there for quite a long time. And start doing some of these trees down here. This one. One thing that I really like is it's actually a very dry brush. The marks that a very dry brush makes. There, those scratchy marks. I'm trying to get that movement of the sky there. And then I'll use maybe this small one to get texture down here. Oh, but not quite as I would have liked. Okay. Waiting to use the dip pen or the brush for these foreground marks. Look, you can see how the dip pen adds in so much more texture. Of it. Yeah, maybe do some. I like the drips that came on. Oh, by accident, actually. There we go. What I love about abstracts is it gives a real energy and a feeling to a piece. And I know it gets a lot of "I could do that" comments. Um, they are actually very hard to do well. Very hard to do well. Be a little bird up there. Okay, I think I'm going to leave that one there. I'll leave it to dry. I shall not judge it now. I shall come back to it and then see what I could do to, if it needs anything improved, what I like about it, what I don't like about it. Okay, I shall move on to another one. I'm running out of places to put these. Right, down there. Okay, I'll try that again. Same sketch I'm working from. If you've just joined, this is a sketch I'm working from that I did outside in just in a local park in my village. This time I'm going to start with the sky. Oh, look at that. That's added in a very different feeling, isn't it? Much darker. And I like the little splash marks there. Oh. Dry it off. See if I can get a bit more texture on the ends here. Oof. I haven't used it yet as my stick here. I think this is a lime tree stick. Let's see. Drawn with this before, so let's see what it's like. I like making marks with nature because you have to relinquish control a lot more. You are not sure what's going to happen because the stick won't be as uniform as a brush. Um, so it'd be interesting, I think, to do these actually out and about in the park and see how that changes the way I make them, because now I'm very much working from a sketch. Okay, I've got a bit of fuzzle there. That's because I don't wash my brushes properly. See if I can get that off. There we go. That'll teach me, won't it? You can see how they're quite different sketches, aren't they? Even though it's from different studies, even though it's from the same sketch. But I'm starting to get to know my tools a little better, and the kind of marks that they make, which is the purpose of these sketches in the studio. So I'm quite excited to, when the weather gets better, to give them a go outside and see what happens. It's amazing how, when you think about making art, how skill comes into it. And that is just a skill of knowing your tools and knowing your media, um, being able to judge where you place your marks. So that was okay. But these are the two I've made so far from exactly the same sketch. That one. Oops. And this one. Hopefully that will encourage you to give it a go in your inside as well. So even if it's rainy outside, you can still make marks with nature. Right, I'll do one more of these and then I shall show you a bit of my really gorgeous, I'm very excited about, avocado ink. Okay, maybe I'll choose a different image this time. Yeah, okay. I will work from this one this time. So again, I'm experimenting with keeping, not colouring in the whole page, making sure that there's space there so that the eye is drawn to certain places and give some breathing space somehow. Okay, there we go. Here, hopefully you can see that. Oops. Keep knocking the stand, sorry. Right, let's give this another go. Quite like starting with the sky. It's a bit of slow TV for you, isn't it? Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try this one, that line along the bottom. I think this ink that I'm using here it's quite old, so it's really not very watery anymore, and it's quite gloopy. And it's making it behave in a slightly different way, which is, another thing to consider. A different way to what I'm used to. See if I blob in some water here, what happens. No, it's going too far up. I'm hoping I'll get quicker at these as well as time goes on. Something else for that. Try a really dry brush. This is one thing with inks and watercolours, it obviously takes a long time for them to dry. So when I painted into there, would love it to look quite scratchy, but because it's still wet underneath, that hasn't happened. This is annoying me. I haven't quite. There we go. And it's stuff seeping upwards. Maybe I should just go with it. For me, these little scratchy bits, it always looks like the wind or the clouds. Okay, for these big long ones down here. Pressing too hard. Something pinged. What's that? That's okay. I think you're still there. I know I didn't have loads of battery on my phone. So interesting. You need that one that goes across there. Still, I think I've not quite got the balance right there, but it's good. Good start. I might do a few more. It's not going the way I want. I want it that way. Yeah. Okay. There we go. See how they dry. I'd love to know what you think of them. Let me know in the comments. I'll pop that. So the last thing I wanted to show you was some avocado ink from avocados. So you may know that you can actually make dye for fabric using avocado skins and pips. So I've been saving loads, just scrubbing them out, drying them out over a few weeks. And then I boil them up over, I don't know, for an hour, let them simmer. Actually, not boil, simmer. I think boiling takes out the lovely red colour. And then left them overnight to steep, and then strained out the skins and the pips and came out with a dye. And I did dye some cloths with it. And this is one that I dyed with it. Oh, it's coming up really orangey on the on the video. It's actually kind of a lovely pink colour. Maybe if I just switch off the ring light, does that come up better? It's a nice orangey, a nice kind of pinky colour. It's beautiful. It's quite, I don't know, a bit like same colour as my skin a bit. And this year, I'm hoping to do a few more of my own homemade inks. So yeah, the thing with the dyes, often the plants that make dyes for dyeing fabric, and there's lots of information about that, you can make ink from them. So the leftover dye from the dye bath, I just boiled down and have made this ink. I need to find a container for it. I haven't got. I need to eat some more jam or something so I can get a new jam jar to put it in. But this is. I boiled it down even further to get this really dark, rich color here. This is the first iteration where it was quite light still. So I'll show you that in a moment. And when you make ink, there's a couple of things to add to it. There's a bit of gum arabic. That's this, if you can just about see it, which is a sap that comes from a tree, I think in the Middle East. I'm not 100% sure about that. I should know that. Because I need to say thank you to the tree for giving us its sap for me to make my ink. And then you can also add a couple of cloves, and they have antibacterial properties, which will stop a little bit your ink from going mouldy, because they do go off quite quickly. So I keep mine in the fridge. Thank you, family, for letting me do that. But yes, you can use lots of plants that are used for dyes as inks as well. And my nana left this book. She was a textile teacher. The use of vegetable dyes, left this book with, I think, my mum. And it's got a whole list of different plants from the UK that you can use, British dye plants that you can use for dyeing. So my project this year is to just choose 3 of these and to start studying them from the ink that they make, and also for their medicinal properties. So I've tried to find ones that cross over a little bit, like the elder. I'm quite excited about that project this year. But yes, so here's one I made earlier. This is one that I played with yesterday. It's still drying here, of the avocado ink. And isn't it just the most beautiful, beautiful colour? My daughter said it looks a bit like Jupiter or something, like a planet. I want to draw some female figures around it. But yeah, that's the first experiment with it. Still drying. But I wanted to just play a little bit on here. Got some scrap paper here with the avocado ink. I need to get myself some fresh water, really. But anyway, tell you what, I'll use my drinking water for now. Just don't drink it. So this is the lighter one that I made. This has had gum arabic added to it. Gum arabic just helps the ink pigments to bind, I think, to the page and mix with the water. And this is the darker one. Isn't it beautiful? So I wanted to play around with making marks of these and seeing how they interact with one another, maybe adding in a bit of India ink to it, seeing India ink is made from charcoal. I haven't made that. I bought the India ink. But you have to grind it really, really fine. I have got some charcoal that I was going to maybe use today to make paint, but I haven't managed to sieve it properly, and I need to do that outside because they've got very fine particles, and it's raining. So okay, yeah, look at this. It's so interesting, these interactions between the India ink and the avocado. Might do. Just, it's like sometimes starting just with water. This has got a little bit of India ink in it. Then bringing in the dye on the ink on top of that. Dropper. This is a dropper. You can get these little bottles with droppers in them. And just saturate it here. And watch how they all interact, the different inks. That's the lighter avocado, the darker one. And this is a bit of the watered down India ink. Often you have to wait till it's really dry to see what happens. Quite amazing to see. I've been working on some, I'll finish up in a minute, but I've been working on some blue and white using woad, watercolour made from woad and black together. This is India ink as well. I think this is too much black, but this is it dried, and you can see all these beautiful rivers and channels that it's made. So a lot of this is me letting the ink and the water do its thing, directing slightly. And then I've added salt on here, salt crystals to make those, but yeah, interesting pieces. So that's what will probably happen here along the bottom. After a while, you'll start to see little channels and rivers emerging. But it's so beautiful to see what happens. See this circle, how we can make it work. So as I finish up here, does anyone have any questions on the live? And or if you're watching on the replay, please leave them in the comments. I'll come back to you. If you want to get started with playing with nature, making marks of nature, I have got a free workshop called Wild and Imperfect, 3 nature-led ways to unlock your creativity or reawaken your creativity, I think. And yeah, it shows you a few of the techniques that I've done today, and I do it alongside you in that workshop. It's only half an hour. So you can give that a go and see what you think, and then you'll get a special discount to join my course, Your Wild Journal, where we do lots of this kind of thing. And I'm hoping to run another live version of it, which is really fun because then you get to see what everyone else is making at the same time as you. Maybe when it gets more towards spring. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. I have no idea how long I've been here for, but thank you so much for joining me. I'd love you to know what you're going to try from watching this. I haven't been able to see any comments. Apologies if I've missed any. Yeah, I can't see any comments. No. Okay. But yes, let me know. Thank you so much. There's lots of people who joined today. It's been really wonderful being here with you. Sorry I can't show my face. When I flip it, it goes a bit weird. So I'm just going to leave it like this, just to say thank you so much for joining me, and let me know what you create. Okay, take care. Bye, everybody.